Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworms Goosebumps Retrospective. Today, there is nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nowhere to avoid number 55, The Blob That Ate Everyone. We open up with the blob eating our main characters. What? Run! Alex cried. I turned and tripped on the edge of the driveway. I landed hard on my elbows and knees and looked back in time to see the drooling, pink mouth open wider as the tongue wrapped around me, pulling me in. No joke, this is from the first chapter. I know Goosebumps can rush through their stories, but this is ridiculous. I held the pages of my story in one hand. Oh, it was all his story. Zachy, but I am not even going to try to pronounce that. Loves to write scary stories. Always coming up with stories to read to his friends Alex and Adam. When walking home one night, Zachy discovers a burnt down building, which of course they explore, or else Zachy wouldn't be able to find the plot device. Hey Alex, I cried, look! I pointed up to an old typewriter. I love old typewriters, I cried. Look Alex, I don't think the fire hurt it. I think it's in good shape. When Zachy meets the owner of the store, she gives it to him for free. Almost like she wanted to get rid of it. Soon, Zachy discovers that whatever he writes on the typewriter starts to become real. When he writes his story about the blob, well, why do you think it's called The Blob That Ate Everyone? The cover is good. The blob's design is gross and nasty, all pink and veiny. Looks like a piece of mutated bubblegum. The huge tongue on the street, and all the objects surrounding its mouth. Yuck. Simple, but scary. Classic. Also, so much pink! He's no picky eater. Unfortunately, the blob isn't really the main focus of the story. In fact, most of the stories focus around the typewriter, which, yeah, we need the time to establish how Zachy got the typewriter, how it works, and all that to get to the crazy blob, but it leads to a middle where nothing really happens. There's even a whole segment about Zachy at school that's really pointless, outside of getting him to hate on some bullies. That's the thing. A lot of the second act in the book is pointless or boring. Used to get us scared when nothing really scary is happening, or get any payoff till the third act. Though one can't help to notice that the book decides to focus on a little boy wanting to write horror stories. Something tells me this was Stein having a little fun self-inserting himself. Throughout the book, we hear how Zachy wants to be a horror writer. Hell, on the book blurb on the back, it starts off with a famous horror writer. It's actually kind of cute saying this. Someday he's going to be a famous horror writer. Looks like someone was self-indulging themselves. Am I right, Stein? But outside of that charm, there isn't really that much about the story. It's supposed to be Stein's take on the blob, but I thought he already did that with Monster Blood. 3 times. So why do another story about a blob-based creature? At least it's not Monster Blood 4. The third act makes up with it with some really fun horror when the blob actually shows up, but there isn't really anything of real interest here. Though the twist in the end does go into some crazy Inception territory. Again, not really worth it. What about you, Internet? What's your opinion about the blob that ate everyone? Till next time, have a scary day.